What are some weird, real-life X-Files type mysteries? One of my favorites is the Black Triangle UFO, seen over Belgium in the late 80s and early 90s. The Belgian military scrambled F-16s to intercept it, but it was captured on the radar jumping from something like 10,000 feet to 25,000 feet in a single radar blip. It was seen from the ground while being captured on radar. It's a very strong case. Speculation is that it was an advanced military project, but it seems ballsy to test it in public. The Insatiable Terror. A Frenchman who could not stop eating. He was said to have an incredibly large mouth with stained teeth, and supposedly had a visible vapor rising off of his body. His parents kicked him out as a teenager because he was literally eating them out of house and home. He ate any and everything, including live animals, stones, silverware, anything he could get his hands on. The French military even tried employing him as a courier to smuggle documents by eating them. No doctor was able to find a cause or a cure to his appetite. He was eventually kicked out of the military hospital where they were studying him after falling under suspicion of eating a 14-month-old child that went missing from the same hospital. A reasonable suspicion, since they caught him trying to eat dead bodies in the morgue on several occasions. Edward Leedskalnin was a 5-foot-tall dude who mined and sculpted 1 million kilograms of coral in South Florida into a home and attraction. He said he knew the secret of the Egyptians regarding moving heavy objects. That was out of control. Had a 40,000-pound piece balancing on an axle as a door that you could push open with one finger. When it needed repair, they needed a crane to fix it. He installed it by himself. Never worked when he could be seen. Never told the secret, and no one's figured it out. The Oakville Blobs. Gelatinous blobs fell from the sky in Oakville, WA in the early 90s. That made people sick and killed some animals. After testing, it was shown to contain human white blood cells. I grew up real close to there and have met people who were there at the time. Oakville is teeny tiny and everyone who lives there has always lived there. They still talk about it in the Porter Tavern. A mysterious case from South Korea that had never been solved called the Frog Boys, about a group of 5 boys gone missing, without their corpse remaining, nor any evidence found for about 20 years. Even soon after a massive police search in the whole area foot by foot, nothing was found. However, 20 years later, their remaining have been spotted and discovered just right near their home area, which have already been searched for thoroughly. During this period, there were multiple theories and conspiracies. One professor also personally tried playing detective and accused one of the parents for being the offender with some logical contents and accusations. Hallucinations at sea. So, this has been scientifically explained, but it's intensely creepy. Coming from a family of sailors, both my father and grandfather had similar experiences. My father described an incident where he saw floating coffins covering the entire sea. My grandfather described an incident where a swarm of crows were following the boat, and people riding on motorcycles besides the boat. My dad hallucinated from sleep deprivation when he sailed by himself from East Timor to Darwin. All he saw was his console instruments turn into cupcakes. I always liked Mel's Hole. A guy has a hole on his property that he claims is bottomless and has the power to restore dead animals to life. Hole is tested by some people who verify the claims. Then government gets involved to shut everything down. It is probably a hoax, but has all the elements of a good X-Files story, including government cover-up. You can listen to recordings of the original interviews from Coast to Coast AM on that page as well. The celestial phenomenon happening over Nuremberg in 1561. It happened randomly in Nuremberg's sky and it appeared as if it was a type of aerial battle with spheres, cylinders, and at the end of the spectacle a black triangular object fell from the sky and a crash was heard from outside the city. This still does not have an official explanation. UFO conspiracy theorists everywhere, rejoice. The Toad Mystery. A man shows up at an airport in Tokyo and his passport says that he's from a country called Toad. When asked to point to Toad on a map, he points to Andorra but is confused because he had never heard of Andorra before. The company that he claims to work for has no idea who he is, even though he had copious amounts of documentation to prove it. He was held in a hotel room guarded by 2 policemen while the police investigated the case. He disappeared from his room even though they were several stories up with no balcony. Please consider to subscribe to my channel so you can enjoy more of crazy Reddit stories.